Hi everyone, so today's video is actually inspired by this book that I read, and it's called Poverty Proof, and it's written by a South African author. His name is Douglas Kruger. So we are talking about things that contribute to poverty and people remaining in poverty. Now, success can mean different things for different people, but I think at the end of the day, we have a general agreement on what success is. So let's start with the first point. I'm not wasting any more time. If you haven't subscribed, please remember to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, let's get to it. Let's chat. If you have an opinion, put it in the comments and let's have a discussion. But this is one that I'm excited about because I'm all about self-development and improving yourself, business. I'm all about, just becoming a better you, a better version of you. So let's start with the first point. So I have changed the points a little bit. Some of his are there, and some of them I've just elaborated on them a bit. And this is my opinion, and also there are stats that show certain things. So there are studies that show certain results that I'm going to be speaking about. So anyway, let's start with the first point. So this might be very applicable in South Africa, but the first point that he makes and that I have to agree with is having children out of wedlock. That's the first point that keeps people poor. Now, there's many reasons that having children out of wedlock or before you're married, or actually when you're not married, contributes to poverty. Like, there's studies that are done that show that couples that are married and have children in the marriage fare better than those that do not. So we're not going into couples that are divorced. We're not going into couples that are this or that. But generally, the studies show that people that are married and have children in marriage fare better than people that do not. And I'm going to put a link below in case you want to check out a couple of those studies, just so that you see. But in South Africa, I also have noticed something. Now, people might come for me. But dating can make you poor. Like, if you're not already established, like, at least if you don't have your own car, it doesn't have to be a nice car, it doesn't have to be like the car, but if you don't have your own car, you've never stayed by yourself, and then you want to date somebody else, now you're going to have to spend money dating that person. You're going to have to spend time which you could have used to either find another job or to study something or to better yourself, and then you end up committing to somebody, or you end up having children with multiple people. Like, we're not saying that it will never happen that you can take yourself out of that poverty, but there's always exceptions and there's rules in life. Like, this happens if this happens, and there's always somebody that pulls themselves out. But you shouldn't think that you're the exception all the time. Like, in certain things, things are just going to be that way. You can get yourself out, but this is what creates poverty: dating when you're not ready financially. Let's move on to point number 2. Point number 2 is what we are probably all guilty of, which is when you were earning 3,000 rand. For some reason, you could live off of that 3,000 rand. Now, when you earn 6,000 rand, you want to live a 6,000 rand lifestyle instead of keeping that 3,000 and then saving or investing the other 3,000 rand. And I'm sure we're all guilty of this. As soon as you get an increase, you didn't have a car. Now you go from earning, or from not earning anything to having a job that pays you 6,000 rand, and then now you feel like, okay, I need a car. Immediately, a car is about 4,000 rand per month if you buy it through a loan, because they will tell you you'll pay 2,500 rand. But when you factor in the insurance, when you factor in all the expenses that come with the car, like servicing it and all of those things, you end up paying more than you thought you would. So one of the things that keep people poor is trying to, please the Joneses or compete with people that don't do anything for you. They don't know you. You're competing on social media. You're competing with the neighbors. Everybody's doing their own thing. But because you know, you don't want to be seen driving a Tez, you don't want to be seen driving a cheap car, you want a Picanto or you want a Hyundai i10. So you go for a loan because you can't afford to buy it cash for 200,000 rand, you know. So that's one of the things that keep a lot of people poor. Living, as soon as you get a little, and then you get a little bit more, your lifestyle goes up here. Instead of you know, still living here, but then investing and doing other things that are going to bring you money, things that are assets, not liabilities. Now, a car can be an asset, but that's a discussion for another video. Let's go to point number 3. Point number 3 is, yes, we're guilty of it. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But it's vices. Vices is things like drinking. Oh, friend, let's go for a drink. You did not put it in your budget. You didn't budget to go and have drinks. You didn't even write down how much you're going to spend on drinks. Things like smoking. Whether it's weed, cigarettes, vaping, whatever. It's costing you money. And things like, you know, gambling. Gambling can be playing the lotto, by the way. Those things also chow your money. And one of the things that contribute to people not doing well financially. So you need to check your activities. What activities are bringing in money versus activities that take out money. Because wealth is more money in, less money out. Not less money in, more money out. That's poverty. So let's move on to point number 4. Point number 4 is for the young and for the old. It is having mentalities of you only live once. Oh, if I die, people are going to eat my money and things like that. Now, it is a scary thing to think about, you know, saving your money because you're thinking, you know, what if I die tomorrow? What if I die next week or whatever? But what if you live until you're 90 and you have nothing and you have kids and the kids are still going to university? Because now we have kids quite late. So if you retire and you retire early, you're still going to have to take your kid to university with that money. You're still going to have to help them out, because if there are people that are looking for jobs, it might take, especially if they are in South Africa or other countries where it's difficult to find a job, they might stay at home for 3-4 years looking for employment, and you're going to have to help them. So you only live once. I don't know about that one. So point number 5 is something that where, of course, I was guilty of it when I was at varsity, and that is debt. So point number 5 is running away from debt. Creating debt and then running away from debt. It does not help you at all. It doesn't help at all. So when I was at varsity, I didn't know anything about credit cards. So I went to a store. I was still at varsity. I went to a store. I don't even know how these shops allow children at university to open accounts without their mothers or their fathers' approvals. But I went to the store. It was winter, and they're like, oh, you can take your account. How much do they give you at home every month? And I told them, and they got my ID and all of those things. It was Jet. They got my ID and everything, and then they opened an account for me. I think it had about 2,500 rand. And she's like, oh, you can take anything you want. And I'm thinking, oh, this jacket is nice. I'm going in, taking this, taking that, you know, just picking everything I want because I have money. And then came payback time. Now, like everybody else, I was running away from that debt. I was avoiding it, avoiding the calls, hanging up, and all of those things. And they ended up having to call my mother. Now, when I cannot pay back, now they know how to call my mother. But when I was opening the account, they did not call my mother. So they called my mother, and they were like, this person is owing this much. And I think my mom tried to call me, so I knew what it was about. So I hung up the phone. I switched off my phone for about 2 days. And my mom called, she was quite understanding about it. She helped me pay off the account. But yeah, it was not a good thing. So running away from debt, teach your kids about credit and how there's good credit and there's bad credit. So running away from debt after you've created it is not a good idea. It's going to keep you poor because that debt accumulates every month. Even when they call you, they factor in those calls for you to pay the debt. They add it to the debt. Next month, that phone call that they're chasing you with, they're adding it there. So think about that one. Point number 6 that keeps a lot of people poor is upgrading your electronics. Right now, you might have an iPhone, you're not using it for anything besides looking at YouTube, looking at TikTok, looking at Instagram. You're not using it for anything. Maybe it's an iPhone 10. You don't have money coming in through that phone, which is fine, it's nice. Maybe you just wanted to take nice pictures. But what are they bringing you? What is that bringing you? But anyway, then you get challenges on Instagram or on TikTok where people are like, I'm not with iPhone 10 anymore. I am with iPhone 14 Pro. And people keep upgrading their electronics, the laptop, get the latest whatever. But you don't know how to use that thing to its full capacity and you're not getting anything back for it. So it's more of a liability because now you also have to perhaps insure it if it's the latest iPhone, because if it gets stolen and you're still paying it off every month, it's not going to end well. You're going to be running away from your debt and you don't want to do that. So instead of upgrading with something that you're not using, why don't you think about something that can bring you money, like investments and things like that, that can bring you money. Even opening accounts that will bring you even 5% interest on your money is better than just spending money and upgrading things and adding more debt and more things that you're gonna owe on yourself, to yourself, and eventually to your family. So think about it before you upgrade the phone again. Like, what were you really doing that's so big? Like, even cameras these days are cheaper than, if you really want amazing pictures, to be quite honest, Canon cameras are still better than iPhone camera. So think about it, like, wouldn't you rather have a camera 6000 that's going to take amazing pictures for the next 20 years, or you just want to upgrade for cloud, like, hey, I got an iPhone 14 Pro and stuff like that, but it's not making you any money. Anyway, let me not rant on and go to point number 7. Not wanting to learn anything about increasing your money. So people want fast money. Everybody wants fast money. Like, instead of learning skills and things like investment, read books on investment. People just want to believe anybody that comes and is like, oh, if you put in money in this account, you're going to get 15,000 Rand back after you put in 2,000 Rand. Like, think about it. If that person could do that, why would they be sitting on YouTube advising you on how to, make 20,000 out of 1,000 Rand? Like, they would be in the Maldives, they would be in Greece, they would be living it up. They're not going to sit here and be telling you on Facebook how to turn 1,000 Rand into 20,000 Rand. So before you fall for anything, ask questions. Do your research. You have an iPhone, you have a little bit of data. Do research. Go to the mall, use the free Wi-Fi to do your research about investments. There's books on investments. Even the South African authors have written books about investment. I have a book here that talks about making money from property in South Africa that I'm busy with. So it's things that you need to learn instead of just listening to people talking on YouTube, instead of listening to people talking on Facebook telling you how they're gonna turn you into a millionaire overnight. Understand the processes. Understand when somebody tells you about investment, about return, about interest. Go and ask at the bank, please explain to me this thing of where you can, an account that can give me interest, over a year, over a month, whatever. But do your own diligence. Like, understand something before you take your hard-earned money and put it into that thing, because that's going to cause you poverty. A lot of people are scammed because of that, because they're so eager and ready to just put money into Forex, but you don't understand how it works. You haven't looked at videos explaining what Forex actually is and how people trade, and if you know about the JSE and all of those things, to understand when you put your money in a certain account, who is in charge of that money. If the company that you put money under closes, are you going to get your money back from the broker? Like, understand who is the broker, the middleman, how to trade. At least read about it before you give somebody your money. So don't be poor by doing that. And of course, the last one, which is acceptance. If you just accept that this is my life, I am poor, this is, some people will say "Re phela ka la Jesu." We just wake up and Jesus is king and that's it. If you accept something, it becomes a reality. If you do not accept that this is the way my life is supposed to be, trust me, this is not how it's going to be. So a lot of people might say that I haven't accepted it, but the truth is that your actions, your daily actions say that you have accepted that this is the way that life goes, this is how my life is, and every day you just wake up, do the same things. Wake up, come back from work, sit and watch TV or sit on your phone, watch TikToks or whatever, be going back and forth with people on the phone, going to sleep. There's no self-improvement. During lunch, you're busy gossiping with other people. You're not sitting on the phone trying to learn something, trying to learn how to make money online honestly, how to open an online shop, does it work, how to open a spa, how to, like, there's so many, like, information is there. The information is there. But if you accept that, hey, now I'm just going to be at this company until they chase me away, or why it's difficult, or these people, there's so many reasons that anybody can have to not succeed. But there's also reasons when you look at other people's stories and where they come from that should inspire you, instead of seeing them as those people over there. Maybe he got a rich dad, or maybe you don't know people's life stories, and your story could be a testimony for somebody else who's sitting somewhere, maybe in a similar situation or in a better situation, but they still don't come out or come up. So accepting that this is your fate, that's gonna keep you where you are right now. So this is an inspirational video a little bit to say, let's assess together. This is not a I'm judging you video at all. I don't know you on the other side. But yeah, if something hit a nerve, then time to have a look at it. You know what I mean? Anyway, today I'm going to be making 2 videos. So check out my other videos. I'm going to be talking about business. Ciao. Keep well.